Okay, I'm live apparently. Okay, I'm live, but on the right where the panel says I should be able to see everything, it's got something went wrong with a picture of a monkey. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Anyway, hopefully people are starting to join, or they might have to start it again. I don't know what's going on. Let me see from another website. Okay, this is a bit bizarre now, everyone, okay. Just so you know. This is a bit bizarre now. I just need to put that on there. On my screen, I can't see any of the who's on and everything, but on my other screen, I can. So it's a little bit weird for me here. So I might just have to just move my monitor a bit so I can see and read the other monitor's screen. So who have we got? Paul, Chris, Johnny, Francis, Frank, Meta Fortune, Lefty Me, Gary Wilson, and Paul Hines. How are you all? Welcome to the live stream. There's always got to be some technical hitch. Oh dear. So this could prove to be quite interesting for me. I'll see if I can move that chat thing a little bit closer over here. Let me pop it out. All right, that seems to work anyway. So what are we all smoking this evening? I haven't quite decided myself yet. I had a selection here and I thought I might just wait to see what else everyone's having yourselves, and if one of my matches I might join you. So what have we got? I'm having a look here now. Mac Baron Golden Extra. Okay, I don't have that, so you're on your own there, I'm afraid. Irish Flake. Do I have Irish Flake? I have University Flake. H&H. I don't have any H&H. We haven't got bingo yet. If only I could have this thing here working on the right, it would be great. But however, it doesn't want to. G&H Brown Twist. No, I got that neither. Oh, well, looks like I'm just going to have to choose my own then, aren't I? We're all individuals here, you know, chaps. Just about sums it up, though, doesn't it, really? Peterson Killarney in a 440 London. Uh-huh. Okay. I don't have that neither. I have a Peterson Killarney pipe, but I don't have the Killarney tobacco, I'm afraid. So let's see what have I got. I've got Erinmore Mixture, University Flake, Mick McQuaid. I don't have any Boswells neither. Peterson's Standard Mixture, Nightcap, Irish Mixture, which is the Irish whiskey, and Erinmore Flake, Morning Pipe, Falcon International. No, I don't see many people smoking Falcons these days. They used to be so popular, didn't they? Hi from Sweden. How are you? All right. Well, what do I fancy? It's more of what I fancy as well. And do you know what now? Would it be boring if I had a standard mixture? I like standard mixture. I don't know about everybody else. I just find it I don't know. Got a great flavour to it. But there we are. That's what I'm having. And I'm going to put it into my Now, it's not pronounced. I would pronounce that Vaughan, but I think it's supposed to be pronounced Fawn. Fawn? It's German, isn't it? I don't really speak German too well. I barely understand it, to be perfectly honest. But yeah. V is like an F. Ah, okay. So fawn, as in a baby deer, is it? A fawn. Okay. Thanks, Lefty. I have learned something new today. So I wonder if I can just push this over here like this. That's better. I can read the. I've got two screens, one on either side. The screen that I'm actually using with the camera doesn't have the piece on the right that works. Do you know where you just where all everyone you're all typing? It just says something went wrong, and I'm frightened of exiting out of it and finding that I can't get back into you all. So I'm just going to have to leave it for this time. So there we have it. Tom, good evening. Oh, good evening, Tom. Bantry. Very good. Bit of West Cork. It's nice down there, isn't it? You got a new marina as well, haven't you? That looks really nice. I have yet to actually sail out of it, but I've been told great things about it. It's supposed to be really nice. Is that right? Yep. Are you far from Charleville? I am about 40 minutes drive from Charleville. So the nearest town to me would be Mallow. And yeah, Mallow. That'll be the nearest town. I'm out in the sticks where I live. My road has a grass strip up the middle of it. That's how narrow it is. You can just get one car. Actually, it's a tractor because we're out in the country and there's a huge amount of tractors and silage contractors around here. And that are good friends of ours that literally live down the road, the same road as us. So that's how wide it is. So however wide their machinery is how wide the road becomes. It's got ditches on either side and blackthorn hedges and whitethorn hedges. And it can only go so wide because the ditches keep it in. But every now and then you get a big wide combine might go down it and it'll scrape the sides of it. And it just makes it that little bit wider. I actually used to run trucks, believe it or not. And I used to bring them up to the yard next to us in our top field. And used to manage. I had to actually make one of the turns a little bit wider so I could get the trucks around, and that was kind of a mixed benefit. Really, it was good for me, but it also allowed other people to get down the road as well. So prior to that, nobody used to come. But the silage contractor friends down the road were very happy that I did that because it made it so much easier for their tractors to get down. So, yeah, just going to light this up. Actually, where are we? I put my gas insert. I think I wanted to put a gas insert in there. I did too. So I've got there we go. Oh, for God's sake. That's terrible. That's never gonna work. Comes out the top. I think I've just used my old one. There we're going. Mr. William Wallace, how the devil are you? And what are you smoking today? Ratway. Oh, Tom, you're on Ratway. 27. Yeah, we got 27. That's all right, isn't it? We're doing okay, lads. Much better now that I got the pipe lit anyway. So how's the day been? Bit of a mixed bag, or everyone happy? Happy that it's a Saturday? Saturdays are always good, aren't they? When you don't have to do any work, they're good anyway. Tom Can you get that in Sweden? Amphora. Yeah, that's interesting. Because apparently now what they've been doing, the ST group, they've always done it, but we were never aware of it. But they weren't selling all their blends everywhere. So wherever we were in the countries that we live in, we just assumed that was available everywhere, and it's not the case. They prioritize brands in different countries, but also in America they have obviously these strict FDA rulings as well. So they're not able to have all blends in the US because some of them are too young, and they require them too much money to spend on the FDA regulations, I think. So you just can't get them over there. And then over here in the Irish market, we can't get a huge amount of blends just simply because the market's too small, which is a bit annoying. So we have to try and get our blends from wherever we can get hold of them, to be honest. So thank goodness for the internet and online, where you can, certain places are happy to ship and you don't have to pay the tax, and other places you have to pay the tax. But I'm not so bothered about that as long as you can actually get the blends that you want as well. Hit the like button for the algorithm. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I am a Yorkshireman. Born and bred. Came over here in mid-90s into Dublin, of all places, because that's where my grandfather was from, and stayed with him for a while. And I was only supposed to stay for 6 months, and I think I ended up staying for about 6 years. Then went back to England, went and did my degree in computer science after many false starts, and then moved over to Ireland in the year 2000, just after the year. Do you remember the year 2000 bug? That brought me to Ireland, and I've been here ever since. I was in Dublin first, so I have to lean over here and read these. Just finished a bowl of McConnell's Latake and mixed with dark plug. Man, you like your flavours there, Mr. Wallace. That would be fairly heavy going, wouldn't it? How much to sell the blends are there so they will be able to get? Yeah. So the north of Ireland for me is my saviour. Belfast, Miss Moran's. They have a huge selection. They have a really good online store, so you can place your order and collect them if you want. I'll get them sometimes to deliver, but you know, legally they're not supposed to, so you have to be very careful there. Did I smoke? Are you speaking to me, Johnny? Did I smoke a pipe with my granddad back then? I didn't, because he smoked cigarettes. He wasn't a pipe smoker. He used to smoke John Player Black, and I didn't really like cigarettes back then, so I kept off them. I meant to ask you, Mr. Lamb, Mr. Wallace, where are you from? What country do you hail from? I mean, with a name like William Wallace, it's as Scottish as can be. Still your grandfather's cigarettes. Yeah, I used to. My friend and I. What got you into pipes in the beginning? What got me into pipes in the beginning? That's a really good question, because I can't actually think. I was smoking cigarettes, I think, and I started to. I got fed up of cigarettes, to be the honest truth. It was just an addiction, and I was not enjoying them at all. The flavour wasn't great. I used to smoke Marlboro Lights, Benson Hedges Gold Blend. Those were the three main ones. And I started smoking, or tried smoking, roll your own. Oh my goodness. I didn't last long with that. It used to blow my socks off. But at least there was a flavour, and I thought, this is really nice. At least I'm getting a flavour out of this. And the smell of it was nice. And I thought, maybe there's something. Maybe I'll give the pipe a smoke a go. And so just on a whim, I can't remember when it was. It was a really long time ago. I went and bought, what was it? It was actually a Killarney, Peterson Killarney red little bent pipe with a Vulcan stem and a P-lip, I think. And I think the first tobacco I bought was Peterson Luxury Blend and Peterson Deluxe, because I had a notion what to start with. I was in this shop and it was really busy, and they was asking what I want, and I said, well, what have you got? And they said, well, we have this, 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 and this. And you know, when you're rushed into something and you don't always make good decisions, well, that was me. I was offered a selection of pipes and a selection of tobaccos, and I'll take that one and that one, that one, and that one, and that's it. And I took them and got home. I remember opening them up, the tobacco tins, and the aroma from the tin was just fantastic. I thought, oh my goodness, can't wait to try this. So I don't know if it was the deluxe or the luxury blend I can't remember. And anyway, I remember putting it into the pipe, and I really didn't know what I was doing, to be honest there. And I nearly knocked myself out. I took an enormous puff off this little tiny Killarney red pipe. Oh my God, it blew my head off. And this was just like an aromatic. It wasn't the nicotine that blew my head off. It was the strength of the flavor, and it just bam hit me in the mouth and then knocked me over. I thought, wow, that doesn't taste anything like the smell of it. In fact, it tasted quite disgusting. It was horrible, and I just ended up with tongue bites, and it kept going out, and I thought, this is terrible. This is rubbish. And anyway, I persevered, should we say, and some realized that there's a knack to this, and the internet wasn't as readily available, and so I tried the other one, and it was the same. I thought, something wrong here. I'm obviously doing something wrong, because it smells amazing. It's got to taste great, and it didn't. So my wife said, well, I'll tell you what I'll get you one that my grandfather used to smoke. I said, all right, okay. That was Mick McQuaid. And no, unknowns to me, Mick McQuaid was quite strong in nicotine. I didn't realise. But I didn't get tongue bite with it. So she got me that one, and she got me Condor. And I managed to get the Mick McQuaid going. And that was nice. And the room note was nice. And I was actually smoking in my front living room, believe it or not, as well. She let me do that, which was quite amazing. And she got me that. I smoked that. That was all right. I managed to keep it lit, but I was still suffering from tongue bite. I had no notion of how to pack a pipe or anything. And then I tried the what was it? The other one. I forgot. My brain's just gone numb there. And it was soapy to taste and really strong. It was it's quite strong, isn't it? And anyway, I didn't really like that. So I went back to Mick McQuaid's, and I stuck with Mick McQuaid's for years. And I actually went up to Dublin, because my wife's sister lived up there at the time. And we went into up Grafton Street and into, where did we go? Went into Peterson. And I bought myself a pipe. It was an Aaron, I think it was an Aaron straight pipe rusticated. And then I went around the corner to James Fox, and I bought Deluxe Navy Rolls and Aaron Moore Flake. And I think, was that it? I think that was it. And that was me lost to the pipe. It was just, Navy Rolls was just fantastic. It had that spicy flavor and just, wow. And then I had the Eremo Flake, and that had that fruity flavors to it. And I was hooked from there on in. And it's just history then. More pipes, different tobaccos. But that was 20 years ago? Maybe more. Yeah. So that was when I first started. Better catch up on some reading now. Sorry about that. Yes. Yeah. Left stole your granddad's cigarettes. Yeah. Northern Ireland is where my family's from. Okay. So Ocean Waves, whereabouts are you from? Liverpool, Mr. Wallace. Okay. So are you actually a Liverpudlian? Or do you have Scottish heritage with a name like that? You got to, haven't you? Ocean Waves, California. Wow. I used to have a guy in my team that worked was inside San Diego. Clark's Nugget Plug. Oh man, I do remember that. I have no idea why I remember that. That must have been one of my uncles actually back in the UK. Yes, Gary. Ireland used to. So we used to have a place up in it's not quite the north, in Laos. That was oh man, the name escapes me now. It's a really big company. And in Belfast, and Carroll's in Dublin, and there was another one. We produced a huge amount of tobacco over here, as in we didn't make any tobacco. It was cut and blended here. High Desert, California. Oh my goodness. I'm going it here in my town as. So Paul Hines, whereabouts are you? I mean, I'm assuming you're in the States. Are you on the East Coast? Are you in Virginia? Murray's, you're correct. That's the one. Yeah. English and Merriam. I like your style, Mr. Wallace. Oh, how do you pronounce that? Winchcombe. Is it? Windcombe? Windhome? Windhome, is it? Windcombe, maybe. So anyway, how are the pipes going? Are you all well lit now? Yeah, smoke it. I've grown tobacco in the UK. You could do it, but you could actually probably need to do it in a big greenhouse because it could get a bit cold. Winchcombe. Okay. Greetings to Winchcombe. Smoked up for now. So how did that new pipe go, Frank? Yeah. I was watching a documentary really recently about how they grow perique in the States and way back when. And do you know what's interesting? America is full of contradictions. and this is not a slight against America in any shape or form, but they have a great information system where they have the federation that actually has a program and documents how all about history, and specifically one that they do specifically for the tobacco, and it's regulated. What they have great documentaries about way gone past, how it all started to where it is now, and it's kind of very contradictory because they love the history of it, they think it's amazing, and then on the other hand, they're trying to ban it. It doesn't really make much sense, does it? Now, I'm guessing that there's certain departments that are against banning it anyway, for instance, in Virginia and such like. So it's like they obviously don't back it, but that must be very difficult for people there. When you imagine you're from the region where it was just tobacco, there was nothing else produced, and the country that you live in now decided we don't want people smoking tobacco. We're going to make it as hard as we possibly can for you. That's just insane, isn't it? You're going to have the rum. Yeah, rum. I do like a bit of rum, to be honest. I prefer spiced rum, to be honest, these days. And although there was a rum that I used to like, I forget its name. It was quite nice as well. It was a dark rum. Some of those dark rums can be quite strong, can't they? I remember the Navy. Do you remember Lamb's Navy rum? You remember that? But then there was the rum specific for the British Royal Navy. I think it was it Puss's? That was actually that was quite strong stuff. I don't think I really liked it, to be honest. Mount Gay, yeah, Caribbean rum. Mount Gay is a really, really beautiful rum. I like that too. That's my memory serves me right. That's from Barbados, isn't it? Okay. And I think that was supposedly the world's first commercial rum. The Morgan Spice rum is really good. Yeah, it is. Captain Morgan Spice rum. I actually quite like that. People know that I like rum and different spice rums, so they've bought me all sorts of different flavored, different rums. Bacardi do one, but it's only average. And I forget what it is. I've got another one that I have as well. It's nice. But rum is very like whiskey, isn't it? As well, like you get aged rum, young rum, and then you get the rubbish, like Bacardi, white Bacardi, not great. Myers rum is what we used to drink when I worked up in the Canadian Arctic. Okay. Yeah. You see, the funny thing about rum, like if you like Lamb's Navy rum, wasn't sweet. Not sweet at all. Would blow your socks off. And it was definitely an acquired taste. And that was the same for the Royal Navy Puss's rum as well. I don't think that wasn't sweet neither. But it lasted forever, which is probably why they got it. Whereas the spiced rums, they're a lot sweeter. They're not always as strong. But the Mount Gay rum, it's got a beautiful colour to it, like a golden colour. And it's not necessarily spiced, it's just beautiful the way they make it. And I can highly recommend that. Puss's rum, yeah. Bacardi's butter rum. You're 100% correct there, Mr. Wallace. Yeah. That would put you off rum, wouldn't it? You need to try a proper rum to really fully appreciate it. Like, I think the proper rum was made with sugarcane, wasn't it? Which grew heartily in Barbados. That was how it made their rum. And obviously, just because it was made from sugarcane didn't make it sweet. Turned it into alcohol. So then the flavour came within the barrels, I think, didn't it? Bacardi. You had too much Bacardi when you were young. Well, here's a funny story now. When I was a lot younger, friends and I, we decided to go on a road trip. And we were in the north of Ireland, and we were in, where were we? Very north of Ireland somewhere. And we were working on a job. We were doing a bit of landscape gardening. And that's a whole new story, another story as well. But we decided just on a whim, like, we had enough of this. We've made our money. Let's go exploring. Let's do a road trip. And none of us had been. There were three of us, three guys, and we were like the Three Musketeers. We were a bit mad, and we had this old Land Rover, but it was a Land Rover pickup, and it didn't have a soft top on it at all. It was open at the back. We had all our tools in the back, and it was like 3 seats, like a bench seat across the front. And that was it. There was no creature comforts whatsoever. Air conditioning was you'd open a flap at the front and air would come rushing in. Or you slide the window open. That was your air conditioning. And anyway, we went right the way across the top of Ireland, through Donegal, and we then eventually happened across a sign that says Ironmore Island, and a picture of a little ferry. And we thought, I've never heard of Ironmore Island. Where's that? I've heard of Arran Island, but not Ironmore. So we decided, right, let's go there. So we drove all down these wiggly, windy roads, got to a brow of a hill, and you could see the bay below. It was amazing. And there was this little harbour. So we went down to the harbour and decided, okay, we had a tent in the back, and we thought, we'll go over to the island and we'll stay the night and see what's to be done on the island. So we got on the ferry, and I say ferry very loosely. Okay, it was a boat that you could get a few cars on, and the way you got them on was risky, to say the least. Thankfully, we were in a Land Rover, so we were okay. And like, they were bouncing the cars to get them straight to make room to get more on. Obviously, they couldn't bounce the Land Rover; it was way too heavy. But they had these big planks of wood that they heave you across with. So anyway, we got onto this thing and bounced across the sea and arrived in Ironmore Island and got off the ferry. And the bizarre thing was, the vast majority of people on the ferry didn't actually bring their cars. They parked them in the car park on the mainland and then got on the ferry with all the bags and whatever and got off the other end. And there was this like row of absolute beat up pieces of junk cars. And that's what they used to use on the island. There was no speed limits. There was no police, no Gardaí, nothing. And you could, no insurance for the cars, no road tax. So they just used to drive these heaps of junk around the island because the roads were absolutely atrocious. And so we arrived at the island, and obviously the first thing we found was a pub. And we asked, is there anywhere we can park, plant our tent? And they said, yeah, around the corner behind the pub, you can just put it there, no problem. So we proceeded to make the tent and then headed straight into the bar, because that was what we did at that age anyway, And we proceeded to drink. And my friend used to play the guitar, and so someone gave him a guitar, and so he was playing the guitar. We were all singing, and it was a great night. But this is where it brings me back to drink. We were drinking at the end of the evening Southern Comfort, lots and lots and lots of Southern Comfort, and I just remember leaving Well, I barely remember leaving, if I'm actually honest. I remember waking up in the tent feeling like I wanted to die. And the next day was just the worst day ever. And ever since then, all those years ago, I just take a small sniff of Southern Comfort and it all comes back to me. Like, don't want that anymore. So, yeah, so you had Bacardi. Mine was Southern Comfort. Couldn't drink it anymore at all. I better catch up on this reading again. Sorry, Dad, I was blaring on there, wasn't I? Long span is good, yeah. In the Navy, they had to go water down the rum. About 40%. It was so Puss's job. It was the purser's job. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Plum cake had Jamaican rum topping. There's also a Guinness. Yeah. So, what rums do you recommend that are still easily available? Depends what you want, Mr. Wallace. If you want spiced rum, then in actual fact, believe it or not, Captain Morgan's is actually quite good, but they do an older version. Is it a 10-year rum? And that's really, really nice. But there are some other rums that are exquisite, but they're horrendously expensive. But you can get a really nice Mount Gay rum as well. I think that there's a 10-year Mount Gay. That's really nice. It's not too expensive neither. I'd recommend that. That's really nice, really tasty. If you want to drink gin, you can only drink gin. Oh, that's a sad thing, isn't it? Is that because you're not allowed to drink anything else? Have you tried any tobaccos with the Lakeland essences? No, I haven't. It has actually been recommended for me to try, and I do intend to try. I think is it Samuel Garth or Gareth and Hogarth? I can't remember which one. It's the same company anyway, isn't it? But two different brands. They brand them differently. But they have that one, don't they? The Lakeland and the Ennerdale, and they're supposed. Ennerdale looks, from what I've read of the actual description of it, to be quite nice. Pablo, how are you? Hello, the Wind. Okay, I don't think I've even heard of that actually. Shot of lemonade, left ice cube or two. I don't think. Well, James, you can't go wrong with the odd Guinness, but if you're in Cork, you wouldn't be drinking Guinness. Just so we're absolutely clear on this, it's Murphy's, okay? Murphy's. And it's a better drink. Yeah, Manga Eclipse. Yeah. You're right there. That's nice. Yeah, I've heard that too, Tom. I think you might have said that to me before. Ignore the sober description. Okay. So tell me, this Lakeland Essence, what is it? What is Lakeland Essence? In a short synopsis now, what is Lakeland Essence? What's it supposed to taste like? Is it supposed to be more of a flavour that smells as opposed to tastes? With Royal York. You can't go wrong with Royal Yacht, Mr. Wallace. It's very nice. Actually, I should have had some of that. I might actually have some of that now, actually. Yeah, Murphy's is great. Try to say a bit floral. So it's a floral overtone. So like Erinmore, right? Erinmore flake and Erinmore mixture, they also have this floral overtone topping to it as well. And it doesn't taste for it. It has that, you know, when you're tasting something, you need the smell, so you get the smell of the floral as you're smoking it. So I'm assuming it's something similar to that. But Murphy's is hard to come by outside of Ireland as well. I think you can get it in the UK in tins. But like tin stout is never that great, is it? Unless you can get the one with the widget, that's okay. But there's another one as well that you plug it in to the USB and charge it, and you stick it on top of the tin, and you have to buy special tins of Guinness for it to work. But saying that, it actually tastes really good. It works. It'll actually pull you a really genuine Guinness pint. You have to do it in 2-3 stages, just as you would in the pub anyway. You know, so you'd fill the pint 3/4 of the way, an angle, and let it settle, and then top it up, and then tap the last bit. You can do the same with that. It tastes very, very similar. With deer tongue in it. Okay. Nigerian bottled. Yes, I have. It's a lot stronger. And that's a funny point, actually, because Nigerian, my brother calls it Nigerian lager Guinness. It's just been funny. But they were one of the biggest breweries outside of Ireland that produced Guinness, and really successful. I'm assuming it still exists. But I remember back in the day when I was a lad, when I was in Dublin, they used to ship the Guinness mass. So like it was like really, really thick condensed Guinness. They had 2 ships that they used to pump it full. You'd see going down the River Liffey, down the quays, you'd see these these tankers going up and down, and they were drawing to the ships constantly and filling the ships. And as soon as one gone, the other one would come back and they'd be filling it. And that would go to London. So that was how you would drink the Guinness in London. It would actually be brewed. It wouldn't be brewed. It would actually be watered down. But yes, there was a major difference because it was watered down with London water. It wasn't the same as Liffey water that was used originally. So it was always that little bit bitter in the UK Guinness. And that was for bottled and for draft Guinness. But no, they don't do that anymore. But that's how they used to do it. It was quite a good sight. So like the Guinness ships, they had a black hull, and then the superstructure was cream. So it was designed to look like a pint of Guinness, the ship. They were really good. I've heard Guinness is not pasteurized, because when I taste Guinness here in California, it's definitely not as good as us. Okay, it's not pasteurized, okay? It is pasteurized, really. All beer is pasteurized simply because to make any beer, you have to create a wort. And the wort is boiled. It's boiled to 90 degrees, and you boil it for X amount of time, depending on how much flavor that you want to pull out of the grains that you have in the mixture. And then you water it down and take it out. But it's brewed the same no matter the world over. But if you have Guinness in America and it's brewed in America, it's going to taste different simply because of the water that you're using. If it's actually exported from Ireland, Guinness for export is different for the Guinness that you have here because it has to travel, and it's slightly they have to make it slightly differently. Yeah, but it's not far off, to be honest. But also, what you tend to find with any Guinness, if the pipes in the pub that you're getting the Guinness poured or drawn from aren't cleaned regularly, as in daily, you get a bitterness of it because the pipes aren't clean. And for a very, very long time in Ireland here, whenever you were traveling, like we'd all go to our own local bars that we knew and loved and trusted to pour good Guinness. And those were the bars that were mainly just selling Guinness. So the Guinness was constantly flowing, so the pipes were just full of fresh Guinness all the time. Fresh, kegs being opened and struck all the time, constantly. So the pipes were permanently cleaned and full of Guinness. But if you went into another pub that most people were drinking lager, you would never order a Guinness because the Guinness would be dreadful. So to which nowadays, what Guinness have done is that they actually have a team of people that literally they come round to every pub in Ireland that sells Guinness and they clean the pipes for them on a regular basis. That's their sole task, to make sure that the Guinness lines are perfectly clean. so that the quality of the Guinness is the same no matter where you go. That's a fact. Guinness outside of it is not the same. In Ireland, Northern Ireland, Dublin is better than the rest of Ireland. A pint of Guinness is local, close to Jamesgate, is sublime. Yeah. The funny thing is, do you remember years ago when you used to be able to go into James's Gate and you'd go around the museum, and then at the end they'd give you a pint. It wasn't a pint, it was a glass, and it had a stem on the bottom of it. And that was nice. But it never travelled, had it? That was literally taken straight from St James's Gate. But to be fair now, Tom, I think you'll find most places the Guinness is good. However, the Guinness recipe has changed considerably. It used to be a lot stronger. The alcohol level or content was double nearly to what it is now. And this is since Diageo took it on. They realised that the more alcohol that's in a drink, the less drink people are going to drink because they're drunk and they can't take any more. So they watered it down. So now you'll find that the Guinness that you have now is far weaker than it was when you were a kid or when you were a young fella, and tastes differently. And you can drink more of it now simply because there's less alcohol in it. So the myth about our Guinness being stronger here isn't true. It's not any longer. It's the same world over now, which is a shame. But I do remember when it used to be, a lot stronger. It was nice. Now, I know I'm spouting a lot about beer and all this, but I actually brew beer myself from scratch, from grain. I have a proper setup whereby I mash and create and add hops, and I actually grow hops as well. So I know a bit about beer, and I enjoy brewing it. I actually really like craft beers simply because I enjoy the taste. I like to taste the grain and the way they've made it, and the different flavored hops. Really enjoy that. I don't drink normal beer anymore, but I'm not a snob against normal beer. It's just that when you're used to making beer and good beer, it's really hard to go into a pub and drink somebody else's mass-produced stuff, isn't it? And I guess I'm the same with tobacco as well. I like good quality tobacco. I like to be able to taste the tobacco. And I don't mind a good aromatic that enhances the tobacco. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy that too. But yeah, the Guinness gets treated with love. Yeah. You guys have never tasted Murphy's, have you? Tom, tell me now you drink Murphy's. Used to. Yeah, it's true. But I think what we have to understand with the governments against pipe, they're not against pipe tobacco per se, it's tobacco. And unfortunately, we're collateral damage, aren't we? So they're trying to take on the cigarette smokers. And that's it. That's what they're actually against, because the cigarette smokers are inhaling the nicotine and all the chemicals into the lungs and giving them lung diseases and respiratory problems. And it's costing them, the HSE, the National Health Service, and all the other health services globally a lot of money on the back of smoking tobacco, which is why they're trying to get rid of it. Whereas pipe tobacco, it's a different game altogether, isn't it? It's not designed to be inhaled. It's designed to be tasted. And that, yes, that can cause you different mouth disorders. But that could be caused by other things as well, not just pipe smoking. But it could be, exacerbated by pipe smoking, should we say? But unfortunately, we as pipe smokers are lumped into the tobacco group as a whole, which is a real shame. Yeah, well, case in point with pipe tobacco, isn't it? Like, for instance, this tin of tobacco, that's from the UK. You can tell that's from the UK because it's got this smoking kills here. if it were from Ireland, actually, let me just get you a tin of Irish tin tobacco, and I'll show you what the actual tin looks like. All right, so where are we now? So that's an American tin of Peterson's early morning pipe. Okay. That's an English tin of nightcap. Could be the same, but early morning pipe just have it written on the top, as you all know. This is what an Irish tin of tobacco looks like. So this happens to be Fox's Bankers blend. I haven't reviewed this one with you yet, but I will do. And Fox's Campanile, Fox's Ardor. Can you see? And then you get on the back. Doesn't tell you what's in it on any of them. So you have to write on it on the back in case you've opened two with the lids on, because you would no idea what's inside, because some of them, they all look quite the same. So they're all just blank on the back. And then on the front, it just has the name. So Fox. So this is from James Fox. And their blend is Bankers. And it happens to say 50 grams piped on it. That's it. That's all we're allowed to have. Look at the color of it. It's like an army green, isn't it? How many speak? So that's a good question. So we have certain areas in Ireland, dotted around Ireland, but like Tom, you'd know this where you are there now in Bantry, but around parts not far from there, you have what we call the Gaeltacht, and they speak Irish. But they're encouraged to speak Irish because they get special dispensations, they get grants for the shops and all sorts. So it's all in Irish, but they all speak English. They have to, because they live in it's an English-speaking country. But they will, they're all taught in Irish, and even outside of in every major city and town, they always have what's called a Gael school, which is an Irish school, and they teach in Irish. Although everybody's English speaking, but when they go to school, they're taught in Irish, all the lessons. So they become fluent in Irish, which is really good. But can you imagine, that's really hard? But it is good. It keeps the language alive, which I think is really important. Like my kids now, they all speak a bit of Irish. My wife speaks quite good Irish, actually. I speak so little Irish, but I wasn't brought up in Ireland. I was brought up in the UK, and so it's one of the few things at homework time I couldn't help my kids with Irish. I was no good. But overall, you will find it's a tiny percentage of the whole population that actually fluently speak Irish. But there are great areas that do all speak Irish, simply because they're encouraged to do so, and the government almost pays them to. Brands seem to be lobbying well in the UK. Yeah. The status from... Yeah, in the UK, it's still expensive, though. It is expensive, though, isn't it? I mean, think about it now. Like that tin there is £21. How much was it 10 years ago? Less than half of that, wasn't it? So if you think about it, in the UK, £21 sterling is equivalent to about, was it 26 euros? Something like that? 25 euros, 26 euros, something. And then So think about it, same size, absolutely the same weight, same amount of tobacco, 40 to 42 euros. So all of that doesn't go to Fox, or it doesn't go to the company that makes the tobacco. That goes to the Irish government. So it's in, they are absolutely making a fortune out of every tin of tobacco here in Ireland. I would say they're making approximately 25 to 30 euros in tax and duty alone for every tin. That's just insane, isn't it? Yeah. Poke my horn. The same to you too. Can you buy bulk tobacco? You can from Miss Moran's. Can you from James Fox? I don't know. Let me have a look. I don't know that you can actually. Pipe tobacco. No, you can't. They don't sell it. I don't know if Cahill's do in Limerick, if they sell it in bulk or not, but it tends not to be the fashion here in Ireland, simply because it's just too expensive. Can you imagine buying, so for 50 grams is 40 odd euros? If you bought a kilo of that? You just couldn't afford it. So, you can't buy it in bulk here. People would refuse to spend that amount of money on it. Which is why when you see all these, like I look at all the different websites that are showing people that have these huge sellers of tobacco, invariably most of them would be in the US, wouldn't they? Where tobacco is a lot cheaper. In a different league to what we pay over here, isn't it? Yeah, Spain is cheaper, but they don't seem to have the variety. Luke, are you in Australia? I wouldn't like to be in Australia. I had to pay £80 for that. I mean, that's ridiculous. $40 for a tin of nightcap. So, Johnny H, where are you? Are you in the US? Denmark is expensive, which is absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? When you think, because all of this tobacco here that I have in front of me is all made in Denmark, but it's all tax, isn't it? You see, the government duty that you're paying for. Midwest, okay. Yeah. But you see, the way they sell tobacco and tax tobacco is the same way they do it in Ireland anyway. I'm not sure if it's anything, but in Ireland, it's the same way they tax and put duty on alcohol by weight. And so by weight, it's not the strength of the tobacco, it's by the weight of the tobacco. So alcohol, yeah, that is by alcohol strength, so by its percentage volume. So but they still tax it on a percentage of. So instead of nicotine strength or anything, it's the weight of it, and alcohol, it's the strength of it, but it's still a means of taxing the percentage of what you're getting. Yeah, we are very much hard done by here, very expensive. Yeah, cigars now. So this is a pet peeve of mine now. I used to enjoy a lot of cigars. I had at any given time, I'd have about 100 or more cigars in the humidor. And it was easy just to buy a few every time. Like I used to buy all my cigars, excuse me, from two places, James Fox and another place up Grafton Street in Dublin. I can't for the life of me remember what they were called. But you'd buy them and you'd pay maybe a fiver up to maybe €8, €8, or was it punts back then? I can't remember. And You know, it was a luxury. Cigars, good cigars are luxuries. We know that. So you kind of, you're going to pay a bit more. But 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 euros for a stick. I can't bring myself to do it. I just can't do it. Like, you've got like half an hour, maybe an hour and a half at a push. And you've just blown 20 to 40 euros. At least these tobacco, you know, the early morning pipe, these ones, like early morning pipe. This is interesting now. I was just seeing how long, how many I would get. So I put a tally against, you know, how many smokes I got out of it. So that's there. What's that? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 pipe bowlfuls, 25 in a tin. Okay. So that, if I have just, I only usually have one bowl a day in the morning. So that's nearly a month for a tin. And that would be like half an hour to an hour for a cigar. It's mad, isn't it? And the quality as well. Like, Cuban cigars now are just really, really gone bad. They've, since the Chinese market opened up, they've had to produce so many more cigars, but they still only have the same amount of quality tobacco on the island. So what do you expect to happen? They're just going to not give quite so good quality cigars to the general public anymore. It's watered down. So like, I never really liked Cohiba, but I just found them a bit rough. Trinidad I used to really like. You can't even get them, even if you had the money, because they're all exported mostly to China. The Chinese just buy everything, and so you can't get. It's really hard to get hold of. Monte Cristo, I actually liked the flavor profile of those. They were kind of earthy and a little bit peppery. They were lovely, and you just it's such a risk to buy them now, because most of the times they're not great. So Richard, you buy from Havana House £37 for 100 grams. Essentially vanilla and custard cream. So that's almost like what we would pay for 50 grams, isn't it? So you're getting double there, which is what I was thinking. Yeah, the tins are quite pricey, but I can get purchase bulk blends for $6 to $7 an ounce. How much is an ounce to a gram then? So let's work this out. I should know this, but I don't. Convert US ounce to gram. One ounce is 28 grams. Okay. So 2 ounces is like 150-gram tin then. So you're paying $6. So you're paying $12 for a 50-gram tin. No wonder you can afford to buy so much of it. So like I said, this is about smoking day. So why is snuff is? I guess snuff is expensive because it's ground down tobacco, isn't it? You need a lot more of it to get that small amount. Cubans have a global fixed pricing. Yeah, that's right. The New World, yeah, I would agree. The New World tobacco, like now, I would only ever, in the past, have ever smoked Cuban. Wouldn't have gone near any of the New World cigars, and but now I actually smoke Davidoff now, mostly, and they're all, excuse me, New World. They're beautiful cigars. Excuse me. Botagas, yeah, they used to be nice, but once again, they're just gone down as well. And you struggle to get hold of them actually now. So Cuba is known of the New World, yeah, that's right. Ocean Waves, great to meet you. Great to hear from you. And we'll see you again. I'm fairly sure we'll probably have one of those Google Meets or Zoom in future where we can actually see each other. So you don't just have to look at me. Great to have you there. Thank you so much. Malcolm, so you've finally made it, my dear. Good man yourself. Drew Estate Brick House from Germany is a great smoke. I don't think I've tried that. Upman and Patagas. Yeah, Upman. Henry Upman's would be one of my favourite ones, to be honest. Maduro Toro. I never had that one. Buzenbaki, I know, yeah. Let me show you something now. Tom, you might appreciate this. So this here is a relatively new brand, I guess, and it's single pot still whiskey from Dingle. My sister bought me this. Strange thing is it's matured in bourbon and port casks, but it's actually really, really nice. And it was actually established in 2012, so it's not that 12 years, 13 years now. And yeah, it's nice. Let me open this. I'll show you. Nice bottle and everything. Came that wax. It came all the way over the top, wax on tin, and look at the color of that. Isn't that lovely? Get that into light. Yeah, and that's a really. It's triple distilled like most Irish whiskies, but it is actually really quite nice. It's got that peaty taste to it as well. It is lovely. But now that I've got it out, I'm gonna have to have a sup of it now. I don't know if you're supposed to do this on YouTube, but you know what? I fancy a drink of this. Cheers, all. Well, it has a proper cork and a wooden top on it. It's nice. I say get bit gimmicky, but I can recommend that now. Really, really nice. Good whiskey, that. And I usually put a drop of water in just to rescue the tongue. But if you don't put water in, you don't need much. But you don't get the full flavour of your whiskey. That's really good. It's quite sweet as well, believe it or not. It's got a great flavour. That's really nice. I've said nice again. I don't know how many times tonight. Sorry. Oh, have I missed anybody off here? Oh, man. Caroline, good evening to you. I listened for a bit, but I'm doing some organising at home, so I won't be writing. Okay. I know how that goes. You're very welcome. Did famous TV series called Brett there? Brett, was that in Dingle? Royal Dutch. Cheers, James. Having a brekkie and on the are you rattling now, Malcolm? Are you? Do you have one of those containers you have to open each one? And yeah, that's the age we're getting to, I'm afraid, isn't it? Yeah, Luke. Yeah. Yeah, go on, go for the bottle of vodka. Why not? Liverpool, yeah. Bread was Liverpool, wasn't it? Yeah. Yes, yes. Hi, Joe. Oregon. My goodness. Well, we're well travelled a lot, aren't we, on this group now? We're from literally all over. So we've got 29 people. That's great. Welcome, everyone. I didn't think it would be this popular. And I'll actually be honest with you, I didn't think the channel would be this popular, in all fairness. You know, it's just, it's heartwarming to know that so many other people are very like-minded and have the same likes, really. And I guess with pipe smoking, like, it's just, there's so many blends now, aren't there? But there's certain areas that are very similar, aren't they? Like, you have the English blends, and then you have versions of English blends, and your Balkans and Orientals, and then after that you have a plethora of different aromatics. But it's great, isn't it? It's just such an amazing thing and experience to be able to share with people. Like, it's not funny. It is a thing. Pipe smoking is quite a lonely hobby, really, when you think about it. It wasn't really a social. It's not a sociable thing, isn't it, for most people? And like, with, especially in the world we're living in today, so many people frown upon smoking, don't they? And you can't smoke anywhere. They're banning it left, right, and centre in public places, and yet every time you go out with a pipe, even if you're in a smoking area, and you start lighting up the pipe, the first thing people say is, "Oh, that smells lovely. Oh, that reminds me of my grandfather. Oh, I remember when I was a kid." And no one really dislikes it, do they? It's a real strange thing, and everybody, you'd think more people would do it, wouldn't you? But I don't know why it is. Why do you think there are so few pipe smokers? Is it just because it's maybe not cool, or what? I don't know. Is it it's classed probably as an old person's hobby? But the more you look around you, and the more you look on their YouTube channels, the vast majority of people would be in the 20s, early 30s, wouldn't they? It's amazing. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, we've done all right, haven't we? North Carolina. Well done, North Carolina. Is that near Raleigh? Raleigh in North Carolina, I think it is, isn't it? Carolina Rose. There you go. No, we don't have any pipe clubs. It's not a thing in Ireland. It literally is not a thing. We can barely have cigar clubs. So we used to, James Fox in Dublin they used to, I don't know if they still do, but they used to have like a monthly herf where they go to a hotel, specific hotel. So you have to be it's really hard to go to a public place, because by and large, if you want to smoke cigar or pipe, you want to be comfortable. You're not going to go standing outside. It's just, why would you want to do that? So you need to find a hotel that has a really big area that's classed as outside, so they're allowed to smoke there and have seating. So there's very few of those around in Ireland, really, honestly. So it's really hard to organise an event as such. But James Fox would manage to find, there was a couple of hotels in Dublin that they would be friendly with. And you used to be able to go there, and they used to pay a certain amount, €50 a go, I think, but they'd give you a drink of whiskey, and they'd probably give you a cigar as well, and you bring your own. And it was like a launch night sometimes to do that, but like, and then I don't think it was every month, but as frequent as they could, they'd have them. But it's just, the government has made it so hard to do that type of thing. And like, Ireland isn't really known for its amazing weather neither, so like, it can be a bit chilly. Even in these places, they have to have all these like big fires, heating the place up as much as they can. to make it enjoyable. Otherwise, it's really hard. But yeah, so hence pipe clubs just doesn't happen, I'm afraid. I think it's consistent search for the Holo blend. We're always seeking that amazing blend, though, aren't we? But just think about it now. I can guarantee you, every single one of us here has our favourite, and you go back to that every time. Even when you think you're finding the amazing one, you still have the one that you can't do without, don't you? We do. So maybe we've already found that Holo blend without us realising it. Yeah. Well, Luke, it never used to. You didn't have to have any setting up with a pipe. Like when I was very young, like my uncles had a pipe. Some of them may have 4 or 5 pipes, but not more. Most people would have a pipe, and they'd just have one blend of tobacco. That's it, and then a box of matches, and they'd just have a few pipe cleaners to clean out the pipe, and they might use the back end of a spoon to clean out the pipe, and that was it. That was all that was required. But if you think about the world we live in today, we need to have the ancillary stuff to make it feel special, don't we? That's just the way of life. You know, like you have to have a little pipe stand, you have to have a little mat and all this. You don't, but it makes it nice, doesn't it? And equally, in equal measure, commercially speaking, people make money out of it because then, there's something to sell to us too, isn't there, really? But you don't really need that much to start smoking. You smoke on the veranda, yeah. But where you live, I'm guessing it must be fairly warm, Malcolm. So Raleigh's a bit north of you. Okay, so you're further down. Okay. I'm just about to light another pipe. Old Faithful look has come out. My iron's smooth. And I'm contemplating on a nightcap, to be honest. Yeah, I think I'll have a nightcap. I like nightcap. It's that time of the night with a good whiskey. Nightcap is lovely. It's. I think it may be an acquired taste. Nightcap. I don't know. I enjoy it. It's got a great strong aroma from it, and I find it incredibly tasty, and you get a great smoke out of it. What's your whole thoughts on nightcap? Do you all like nightcap? Yeah. You would have to meet in a field. That's the hard thing, isn't it? A revivalist. It could well be, yeah. But you see, pipe smoking was never a hobby. It was just a means of smoking. And pipe smoking was around before cigarettes were around. And then cigarettes really were the death knell, really, to pipe tobacco. But it was so much easier to light a cigarette, wasn't it? Put them in a little box, put them in your pocket, and that's it, you were done. And pipe smoking then became old-fashioned because the new thing was cigarettes, wasn't it, if you think about it? I'm trying to catch up on the actually, I'll make that smaller. Why didn't I do that before? I can read it now. Yeah, University Flake, I love that. I actually really do. Well, this is nightcap, and I adore this too. But I've already had a University Flake today already, Pablo. It makes your missus ill. Okay. So if you want a bit of peace and quiet, you pull out the nightcap tea. Yeah, I've not tried Ashton's Artisan Blend, Malcolm. Another of my ever-growing list. Paul, I really and truly hope you enjoy it. It is an acquired taste, but once you've got that acquired taste, you just, you really appreciate it. It's a really, really good quality. Mm. What's FT's Wingate or Wingate, Mr. Wallace? What's that? Yeah, you do. It only comes in 50-gram tins. Yeah, Dingle. I got a story about Dingle as well. Tom, you'll back me up on this. If she's getting antsy, bless her in that cap. It's a double-edged sword, though. All right, cuts both ways. Remember that. Francis, you're just gonna have to try it. I'll look at my review. It's one of my first ones, I think. Redbreast. I haven't had that in years. My friend used to drink that. John Cotton's Double Pressed Virginia. I've never tried that. Bless you with a frying pan. Yeah. So nightcap is a strong smoke, Frank, but it's enjoyable. It's not. It's kind of wrapped up in a really beautiful flavour. It's nice and smooth. You get the Latakia hit off it if you like that. Quite smoky, but you got all the full flavours of the tobaccos. There's no flavouring added to this. So if you want a good nicotine hit, and nicotine is something you crave, this will give it to you. But it won't blow your head off. But it is a very English blend and a very traditional old style. That's not to everyone's taste. But specifically now, so this is the thing as well, like a lot of people that start smoking mostly start off with aromatics because they smell so nice and readily available. Like in the States, for instance, like look at Sutcliffe, what they produced. The majority of it was all aromatics. And it's so readily available. And once you get used to that flavor profile of sweetness and of vanilla or nuts or fruit, and then someone says, try this English blend, oh, it's amazing. I guarantee you, the first time you try it, you think, what on earth am I smoking burnt tires for? You know, but the flavor is so different than an aromatic. But you're right, Chris, it doesn't always agree with people. Haunted bookshop. I've heard so much about this haunted bookshop, Tom, but yet never tried it. Have you tried it? Oh, Match is 860. I've not tried that neither. Luke, yeah, Turkish cigarettes. What were those? That was Camel, wasn't it? They were Turkish tobacco. So Eremore Flake and Eremore Mixture, I think they're actually the same blend, but one's rubbed out, obviously the mixture. But they have that floral overtone, which is really nice. But it is strong. It does have a good nicotine content to it. But it's much lighter smoke, isn't it? Yeah, and Eremore mixture. That was one of the ones I've only got a little bit left of that now. I've got a whole new packet to open and put in. But I'm very fond of that. It's a nice, easy blend to smoke, isn't it? Yeah, we will. We'll get a Zoom set up, Tom, because I think it's a lot more interesting, isn't it, when you've got other people there to look at other than me? As I said. Almond is described as a codger blend. It's a burley bomb with a little perique. I think personally it tastes like an old book smiles. Okay, so it's got that musty flavour, musty smell about it, does it? So out of all of you that are on, there's 27 is there now. How many of you prefer aromatics to English blends? Not just, yeah. He died a while back, didn't he? Was it 4 years ago? You like an aromatic, Chris? Yeah. Both, yeah. There's a lot with saying both. So when you say both now, so let's take it one step further. On the aromatics, how aromatic do you go? Do you go like full bomb flavor like I was tasting early on? So I went with the Sutlifs, dark and silky, Barbados, all those types. They're really heavily flavored. Or do you prefer the likes of the Peterson style aromatic that are not quite so overpowering, like deluxe blend and luxury blend flavor? Gloopy. Yeah, the American blends, not to be derogatory, but they tend to use a lot of sticky stuff on them, don't they? So you went into Virginia's, okay, and English blends. I wanted to taste tobacco and learn what. Yeah, exactly. Molto dolce. Yeah. Well, molto dolce is Italian for very sweet. So it must be incredibly sweet. I've never tried it, but the ones that I did try were very sweet. And here's the interesting thing. I liked them all, but I wasn't so sure whether I should be eating them rather than smoking them. And then I went back to one recently and I tried it and it made a bit of a mess of my tongue. I just felt a bit on the tongue. So I had to put it away. Peterson Deluxe blend, yeah, okay. Flavors. Okay. So the gentleman's scholar, you prefer the flavors, and that's great. That gets you started. But trust me, you will want to start trying to figure out what the flavors of the tobaccos are next. And that's where you need to start. Leaving the aromatics not behind, but try that one. That's a good starter English blend. It's not too heavy. No flavor, but the flavor in it is from the tobacco only. but that's not, that's Virginia and Turkish. If you just want Virginias, then there's plenty of single Virginias. Yachtsman, for instance, that's just Virginia. That's really good, but that's quite strong. Okay, Frank. So Erenmore is about as aromatic. Okay, get you. Tom, I enjoyed that one smoke, but I went back again. I'd be willing to give that away. Do you know what I mean? I can't see my smoke, so I'm smoking too frequently. Yeah. So Stroll and Ball, lightly added. I would agree. But you see, those lightly added flavors are designed to enhance the tobacco flavors, aren't they? They're not there to mask the tobacco. Because you can what you will find is that the heavily cased ones are using less quality tobaccos, I find. Charo Superior, yeah. I had that one. And I was pleasantly surprised with that. Because I don't actually, when I go for an aromatic, I wouldn't naturally go for a fruit flavored one. I'd go for a more vanilla. But that Superior was amazing. That had coconut or something in it. I think it was, what did I say it had in? Malibu. I'm sure it was like a Malibu rum in there topping. It was really nice. Yeah. Pipe evolution is basically slow. It doesn't matter. Do you know what matters? The number one thing, that you're enjoying yourself. That's it. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. You smoke what you like, not what anybody else likes. Yeah, I was thinking that as well, Joe, mixing some of these Sutliff blends to dampen them down a little bit. But I'd say you'd probably have to do it the other way. You'd actually have to get a Virginia and put a bit of Sutliff in, because you'd have to put a huge amount of normal tobacco into a Sutliff blend to dampen it down. Stokerby Nugget, I've heard of that. Peter Stokerby blends, or is it Max? It's Max Stokerby, isn't it? I think he had some amazing blends, but we can't get them now. I don't think, anyway. So, Frank, if you live so close to Sheffield, that's where Sharo's is, isn't it? That's in Sheffield. Do you buy these? Because they're actually made the same place. It's a bit scary now. When I say something's nice and you all go by, I really hope you like it too, because there's every option that you could say. What on earth did you say? This is disgusting. Just remember, all our tastes are slightly different. Do you know? So don't come looking for me, Mr. Wallace, if you don't like it. Yeah, so this is going down well now. So I'm hoping you're all enjoying this format now. Like it's great for me because I'm getting feedback, instant feedback. But if you think about it, I don't know if any of you, I think some of you do your own videos as well, but I make a video a day before, sometimes 2 days, and then I schedule it to come on board. So I have to wait a good 24 hours before I get a result back where I get comments. Whereas this is much better, isn't it? Like, it's like having a conversation, isn't it? And I think with Zoom it'd be even better again. Although with Zoom we'd have to be very careful of people talking over each other, because that can get a bit annoying as well. And it's not people doing it on purpose. It's just, you've just got something to say. But it can be well organized. Like, I'm well used to that. I used to manage that with teams of engineers all over the world on Zoom, but it's great. It's a really great way to It's almost like being in the same room, isn't it? Kendall, yeah. No camera. You don't need to have a camera to join a Zoom call. It'd just be, you can still talk. You don't have to be seen. And it's not obligatory to have turn your camera on in a Zoom session either. Some people just don't find it comfortable. It's quite acceptable. Yes, Tom. But I've got something better than that, which I'm going to do. You can get hundreds of tiny windows, yes, but you get like a huge, you can have it in a big block. But like the way you set up the Zoom as well, and you can control this yourself. But as the person talks, they come to the front on the screen, so you get to see them. So like you're talking like for like at the same time. So if you're not talking, you get pushed to the background, but you can hear everything. But as soon as you start talking, you get pulled to the front. That's very reassuring, Mr. Wallace. You need to just download Zoom, yeah. But I'm actually probably erring on the side of Google Meets, because that's almost built into, if you've got a Chrome browser, it's built into it. So you don't have to necessarily download it. It's a plugin that's part of Google. If a blend not nice alone, it likely be good to mix with something. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but it's a bit trial and error, that, isn't it? But that's all part and parcel of the fun of it. If you think about it, with a cigarette, the only way that you can blend your own was to roll your own cigarettes, which is the next stage onto pipe smoking, if you think about it, isn't it? Where everything else, you used to have to just buy a blend that you liked. I remember once going to Spain many years ago, and Spain was like £1 for a packet of cigarettes. And I remember going into the shop and I bought £20 worth of cigarettes. I just got one of everything, brought them back to Ireland, and I just tried them all. Some of them, most of them were quite bland, but like we're just a way of trying to find different taste. But most cigarettes are very similar, aren't they? You just have it's just Virginia mostly, or Turkish. You're not getting Latakia in them or anything like that. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. An annual Piper's meet and greet in the summer. Yeah, that would be great. Lefty, if you have Chrome and never use it, you don't know what you're missing. What would you use instead if you have a Mac? Do you use the built-in one? Or do you use Windows Explorer, Internet Explorer? See, in America, you guys, you're going to be able, you should do that. Have a meet and greet. It's so much easier over there. So much easier. And there's more of you. In Ireland, we're a dying breed. There's very few of us, really. Mozilla. Okay. I used to use that a lot. So there we have it. Another story for you. Way back when, to fund going to college, I learned how to drive a truck, and I had to get your HGV license. And this was when there was no theory or anything. You just had to have a car driver's license and be over 18. So you didn't have to do your rigid license first. So your rigid to the Americans is your 17.5-ton type truck, but with no articulated trailer on. Just that would be classed as a rigid. So I started to learn with this really old was Humberside driver training something or other, and it was run by this old lad and his buddy who was even older than him. He was called Alf, and Alf smoked a pipe, as did the other chap, Mr. Roper, his name was, and he had a pipe, and their office was this old porter cabin in the yard of some other transport company, and it was just thick yellow inside because they just used to smoke all of the time. inside the trucks. They're all yellow and gummed up. So I remember learning to drive. There was two of us and Alf. And Alf was a small fella, but he was such a character. And he would, you'd be driving down the road in this small truck, and he'd be sat on the far side near the window. And the other fellow was sat next to you, and then there used to be three of you in this truck. And he'd get out the Swan Vesta cigarette, the matches. He'd strike up his pipe, and smoke would just be billowing on the inside of the cab. And for the first few minutes, you couldn't see a thing. You'd be just trying to see out the window to waft away the smoke that he had. But he used to smoke this blender. I think it was called Flowers. I'm almost certain it was called Flowers. I've never seen it since. But the smell of it was gorgeous. And I was a non-smoker at the time. And I remember coming home to my girlfriend and she said, "You've been smoking, Craig?" "I've been smoking." "You stink of smoking." It's because Alf was smoking his pipe in the truck cab with us. Oh, that was great times. And that was back over in near Hull. And not far from there was this place called Leconfield. And Leconfield is an army barracks where the transport division of the army exists. And they teach everybody to drive tanks and trucks. And they'd be all over the place as well. And you'd be meeting at these transport cafes, and you'd have all these squaddies there, learning to drive. And you'd be going getting your bacon sandwich. And Alf would be there with his pipe, billowing smoke everywhere. And the room would pass when he'd come into the room. I just pray nobody on tobacco reviews watches your stuff, Craig. Them guys show love overdoing it to be negative or positive. Yeah. Fish to Spain, Tom. You and I have a lot in common. I had my own trucking business. It was Craig O'Neill Haulage. And I used to have a contract with what was Walsh Weston. And we used to have the Dell contract. So we'd go running out of Limerick. And I would be going all over Europe. Spain, Italy, Switzerland, Denmark, France. The works. Be away from home for weeks on end. Do you miss it, Tom? Tom, we may even know each other. That's the scary thing. Yeah, I miss the camaraderie, but Tom, it's not there anymore. Like I do a bit of work for a local haulier here every now and then, just for something to do, and I meet up with some of the old chaps on the docks and on the containers and terminals, and we just chat away. But the vast majority of people don't talk to each other. They just drive past. If you had a problem on the side of the road, we'd always stop and help. They don't care. But to be fair, the transport offices now, they're not about caring. They just want you to get to A to B as fast as you can. You're just a number. And that camaraderie that we used to have, like when we were going to Holland would be a big destination that we'd go to. And we go to, where did we go? Hang on. Tilburg. And Tilburg would be the main hub for Walsh Weston. And that changed to another place which I can't remember. But we used to always stop at this restaurant, Veelgood or some Veelfeld or something. I can't remember. It was near an airfield. And we used to, on a Friday, we'd all meet up because it was ribs. And you get like a bucket of ribs, and you'd eat as much as you like. You'd pay once and just eat as many ribs as you wanted. So there'd be like 20 of us around the table, and we'd all meet from all parts of Europe. We'd all end up in Holland, and we'd on a Friday night. Great, fantastic. Or we'd go to Meer in Belgium and meet up in Meer, somewhere like that, or Lochran. All these places, they don't do that anymore. Drove fuel for 15 years around Southern California. So fuel, that was a different game altogether. I don't know that I'd fancy doing that, to be honest. That was really regulated. You had to be super careful, didn't you? Yeah. Nose to the wind, you're 100%. Yeah. And however, my buddy now, it's kind of strange because he started after me, and he was doing Welsh Western, but I never actually met him. But he used to know my drivers, and they'd all know about me, but I didn't. I didn't know about him. I was infamous, it seems. I don't have that way about me, I think. But he came, he phoned me and says, "Craig, you know, would you be looking for some work?" And I said, "Well, I might be, yeah." And he's old school like me. So we'd always be stopping, pulling, if we'd see somebody on the side of the road, and we'd pull over and help them. And he'd phone me, says, "Where are you?" And I says, "I saw what your man there, he had a blowout tire now. Oh, I hope you stopped to help him." Says, "Yeah, I did. That type of thing isn't normal. Only old school normal." Yes, Mr. Wallace. I'm calling you Mr. Wallace. But yes, Cahill's is very similar to Miss Moran's. I don't know if any of you have been to Miss Moran's neither, but it's a really old, old building in a row of shops in the centre of Limerick City, sorry. Excuse me. And it's very, very traditional. It's a lovely place. It's a type of place where you open the door and there's a little bell that rattles, and it's just all stuffed with pipes and tobacco and cigars and everything. It's so not PC. It's perfect. It's just wonderful. And incidentally, I've sent emails off to Cahill's, James Fox, and Moran's to see if they're interested in a collaboration where if they'd like me to come and have a chat with them and show them the shop on video and stuff. I'm waiting for a mail back now, see if that'll happen. But going to Cahill's and Miss Moran's is like stepping back in time. It really is. It's just wonderful. Yeah. The crack on the longboats to France. To the Green O'Neills. Oh, yeah, that's right. With the big swooshy sides, green, the two lime and dark green. Yeah, I used to know some of them lads. Yeah, so Joe, do you ever think about a walk around your boat video? Yes. So before I rudely interrupted myself, one of the things that I want to do is to take you out on my boat. So I'm not a wealthy man, so don't think that I'm this. I'm not. I just happen to have saved a lot and had bought things when they were not expensive. And I have this old, it's a Mitchell, I think it's a 31, Mitchell 31, Mitchell 32, I can't remember. But it's like got an open deck at the back and then a small cabin at the front where they have a toilet or heads and a V berth where you can sit and a little bit of a galley. And I'm going to go out around Cork Harbour with my camera and I'll have a pipe out there and take you around in summertime. It's not something that's worth doing in wintertime. It's just uncomfortable, not nice. And I'll do that. Far easier than going out in the J24. The J24 now is an out-and-out racing yacht. And there's no way I could just take you out in that because... Well, I could stick the camera on, but I won't be able to talk to you because I'll be too busy hanging on and being shouted at by my kids because we're not going fast enough. We're not looking where we're going. But in the other boat, definitely. And yeah, if you're ever in Cork in summer, anyone more than welcome to meet up. I'll take you out in it, and it'll be great fun. But that's what I'd like to do. And yeah, that would be great fun. Only one Danish pipe shop left in Denmark. My God, that's ridiculous. Well, I'm saying that's ridiculous because I think there's only 4 or 5 in Ireland. So we're heading your way, Lefty. At the end of the days of pipe smoke, do you think that will eventually disappear with the case of? No. I actually don't think pipe smoking is ever going to disappear altogether because it's like anything. I remember Prohibition in America. never got rid of alcohol, did it? It just actually went underground, and it was even more prolific. And it would be the same with pipe smoke. So once you're smoking a pipe and you have your tobacco, you're going to keep smoking it. And you will always find somebody else that smokes it that has a contact, like me in transport, that we can bring it in from some country that doesn't ban it. I guarantee you. And as that happens, it'll just keep going. The choices will probably taper off a little bit, I'd say. But like, I can't imagine it happening in our lifetime, to be honest. But that's maybe me being a bit positive, but I think so. But in the UK, you're still not taxed to the hilt as we are over here. Yeah, I think now we should draw this to an end, really, shouldn't we? Because it's 8 till 9. We've barely been at this for 2 hours. Maybe we'll finish at 10 o'clock. How about that? So we've got 9 minutes to go, and then we'll call it heads, will we? And we'll leave it at that. Thanks for sticking around, Tom. We'll have to meet up for sure. The Danes own the whole market, Mr. Wallace, but they don't want to sell it to their own. It's a bit like Norway. They have all the electric vehicles, and they want everyone to have electric, but they have the oil. They don't want anyone local to use it. Chris, thank you for staying by. I appreciate it. I really do. Yeah, STG is the biggest. But there are others as well that are big that we don't hear of, because like Cop and Company, and is it Dan as well? They make huge amounts of tobacco for other companies, and you don't see their names on so much, I don't think. You're welcome, Malcolm. Yeah. Trump, you've never seen him with a cigar, have you? I've never seen him at all. I don't think he has the wherewithal to smoke cigars, to be honest. I just don't think he has that in him. Doesn't seem to be the type, does he? Maybe he does. Maybe I'm calling it wrong. But unless he had a business interest in it. Paul, me too. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around for this length of time. It's gone way longer than I expected, but over in a flash. And I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I've actually had 2 pipes, 2 bowls, and I'm likely to have another one when this is finished now, just to wind down. Pablo, you're more than welcome. You're all welcome. It's just been thoroughly enjoyable, hasn't it? And when it actually comes down to it, when you're sharing time with like-minded people, time always flies, and time is much more interesting, isn't it? And that's important too, isn't it? Life is short and hard enough as it is. It's nice to be able to share quality time with people that actually have the same view on life and same interests. And we've all got our stories to tell, haven't we? We all have our, baggage that we carry around with us. But ultimately, we have a thing in common, and that's the thread that holds it all together, isn't it? And, that's nice. That's the interesting thing about life, isn't it? You're very welcome, Hendrickson. P.O. Hendrickson, Nose of the Wind. Nose to the Wind. I like that name. What's on the wind? Is it Bisto? Bill Clinton loved a dog. Yes, indeed. No more to say about that. Yeah, thank you. Look, these things don't happen on their own. It takes everyone else to be here for this to work, doesn't it? So thank you all, guys and girls, for taking part and being a part of it. You know, this is the first stream that I've done. I've never done a stream ever before, and this is really, really interesting and fun. Great. It's so now when we do the next one we'll definitely do with video. I think that would be much more interesting, I think, and that'll take it up another notch, won't it? And we can get a little bit more organized with time, can't we? Like, we can do a review online. We can choose a few tobaccos, and you can give your own reviews then. So it's not just me giving a review. You could give a review on it too. And you don't need to have your own channel to do that, but you can talk to the channel, can't you, as a review? And that would be really great, because then we're getting a whole mixture of different tastes and opinions on things. And that's just makes it more interesting, doesn't it? It'd be like a tobacco review, but online or in Zoom. Carolina, you're very welcome. Very, very welcome. Oh, tobacco exchange. No, I didn't. But let's just as we have it. Yeah, I've got a website, an old website I've had for years, and I might resurrect it and create a bit of a tobacco exchange. Just in that, I'll have a page where you can log on, and it'd be obviously just for subscribers only. I don't want the world on it, because that gets out of hand then. And you can, the way I want to do it is like, you can log in and just put in what tobacco you have that you're willing to have a swap with, and what perhaps you would be interested in swapping for, or have a few, you know, because you might not get what you want, or you can just leave it blank and say, I'll take anything. And then someone then will click on and say, yeah, I'd like to do that. I would like to offer you this. What do you think? And then you can go offline and make your arrangement. Eventually, I could build it into the website so you could all set it all up for you, but not first. And that way, then, like, we've all got tobaccos in our cupboards, shoeboxes, cellars, whatever else you may have, wherever you keep it, that you're probably never going to smoke again. And or you have a whole mountain of the stuff that you'd love to share some of it and get something else without actually maybe having to go and buy something. The only thing is the post and packaging is quite pricey in some countries. But taking that aside, you're gonna have to pay that anyway if you buy it online. But yeah, it's just a thought. I think maybe we should do that. And it's just another option, isn't it, available to us? And plus, it's a great way to make friends as well, and acquaintances, and, you know, meetups and all sorts. You can do all sorts with that. It's got a lot of legs to it, I think. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to do. I'm in the process of doing it. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I will get there. Yeah, I don't know if it's a thing, if others have done it or not, but yeah, Sonny, that is a problem. But there's ways and means around such things. You do know that too, don't you? I could send you something else, and it might happen to have a bit of tobacco in it. I don't know. Like one of these things that I do, I have a 3D printer, and I print off these. They're like, you see that there? So your pipe just sits in it like that. But it's also where you can put your dottle into it as well. So you can just tap your pipe out into it and leave it there to cool down as well. And I print them in all sorts of colours. But there's enough space for a few bits of tobacco in there, if you know what I mean. So could do that too, couldn't they? So if anyone's interested in those things, I can get those, print off a few of those. They're quite good. If you've got a 3D printer, I can send you the file and you can print it yourself. So there we are. We're at the top of the hour. It's 10 o'clock. I think maybe if we leave it there, and I will call it quits. Had a great time. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for all your time and for Smuggler's Cove. Yeah. You know, living in Ireland, rules are there to be, you know, maneuvered around. So 11 o'clock for Lefty. Where are you? Oh, you're on mainland Europe somewhere, are you? So anyway, take care, everyone. And we shall talk again. I will start putting up another video soon enough. And yeah, thank you so much. Great to talk to everyone. And we'll leave it there for now. I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you so much. Good luck, everyone. Bye now.